have like 30,000. You're not even like a fraction of the way through. I need you to explain to me why I should hire you and not go to another service. And they need to be good reasons, not like some bullshit. Like, give me a good reason.
You'd have to charge 20K because you're doing too much.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good.
James, nice to meet you. Hey, Trey.
Likewise. Where are you from?
Newcastle, England.
Oh, shit. You came all the way from there?
Yeah, I got a private jet here. No, I live in Michigan.
I was like, God damn. I was like, holy shit.
All right, so college recruiting, helping high school kids and 8th graders who want to play college sports, basically get into college.
Okay.
And play college sports.
Yeah, it's college sports, okay?
Yeah. Right now, I've got 44 clients. Started in January. It's about 80, I think 88 grand we've done in cash collected.
It's like 2K a pop.
2995 is the gold, 1895 is the silver, and then you're probably gonna kill me for this, but it is a membership that goes until they graduate college.
Okay. So like, is this monthly, yearly? What is it?
That's a one-time fee.
One-time fee for,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah. So if I pay you, what do I get?
So with the gold, you get 4 highlight videos created. They send me the timestamps. I then send that out to somebody else who did technology, and then I pick the clips, which costs me about 20 bucks a video. Highlight guy goes through and just picks out all those moments, and then I put them together.
Why doesn't the guy just do the whole thing? I don't get it. Like, why is he picky now, not do the whole thing?
At this point, just because I don't have someone
Not skilled enough?
soccer-wise
Okay.
to do it.
All right, so highlight videos. What else?
One-on-one mentorship. So with the silver, it's all done through email and text. With the gold, they have the ability to book a one-on-one video meeting with me, and then they get access to the recruit portal, which is, you know, emails, player assessment, all that kind of stuff. So it's basically, think of it like a CRM, but for recruiting.
Basically, so far, what I got is like highlight tapes, and then they get a little communication with you. Does this get highlight videos as well?
They get two on the silver, 4 on the gold.
Is there anything else I'm missing?
The rest of it, to be honest, is automatic.
Who pays you? Like, who actually
parent.
has paid you? Parent, right? That's what I figured. Typically, the hardest thing about college or like athletes and stuff is like a lot of them are broke, so they can't pay. And even good athletes, like in college, they're broke too, right? They don't really start making any money until they're in the pros. So first off, so before I start just doing whatever, let's figure out what's the goal and then what are you struggling with, and then we'll backtrack from there.
I mean, right now I've done no ads.
Okay.
So the goal isn't a number, it's more just to get ads set up.
The struggle is like, in your opinion, is ads?
I would say it's probably going to be lead gen, yeah. And
Okay.
then
How do you get leads right now?
right now it's going to showcases where I get brochures, it's referrals, it's I partner with other ID camps that they have like opt-ins where they punch a button that says, we'd like to receive information from Skill Fit Soccer.
I guess my question is like, do you guarantee that they get picked up, or like
Not allowed to do that. So NCAA, you're
Right.
not allowed to guarantee any particular
Right,
scholarship or
Okay.
school. So it's
So
more
like,
than
what's the chances, like between you and me, like what's the chances that if you had 100 kids, how many actually get recruited?
you can get 100 recruits. It's mostly done through text message.
Mm-hmm.
Then they set up a 10-minute call.
Right.
That's basically just to figure out, right, where you at, are you motivated, you know, are you within the realm? Then we do a 45-minute sales call, whatever you want to call it. Provided they're open to going anywhere in the country.
Right. Okay.
You've got JUCOs, you've got NAIA
Got
schools, you've got
anything.
Division 3s, so we can
Okay.
get them all pretty much 4 to 6 offers.
I guess like my question is like, if the parents are paying, why does the parents give a shit? Why does the parents care?
So for the parent, you look at it as some of them are motivated by scholarship. Some of them love the mentorship side of it. Some of them want them to get the right college fit in terms of they just don't know how to do it. So their kid wants to play in college. They have no idea how to go through the recruiting process themselves. Typically, what I tell them is you do it by yourself, you'll probably get 1 or 2 schools. And you're going to pay whatever they offer you. If you work with me, I'll get you 6 to 8 schools.
Okay, so I'm curious, like, how did you come up with these prices?
2995, I looked at it as that's kind of just market rate for what I was looking at.
What's the difference between silver though? Like I noticed the videos, but is there anything else?
It's really the one-to-one mentorship, and then I also add in, I partner with a company who gives them SAT, college test prep, and then also college funding program, which helps them maximize FAFSA and.
Okay, so the parents who can't afford, like the parents who pay for this, why do they pay for this and not for that?
Some of them say it's money. Most of them is probably because I try to get them on the gold, and then if they say no, I drop them to the silver and say, right, I'll give you a free
Why
upgrade.
do they say no, typically?
Honestly, I don't get a lot of no's.
Okay.
Which I've been watching your videos recently. It's like, right, you either get yes or you get a no. It's as simple as that. I need to learn how to do that better. But a lot of people are just like, honestly, we want to check with the club coach, or we want to make sure that they definitely want to do this before we commit to this amount of money.
Right.
Which even when we say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, is your kid motivated on the 10-minute call? Some will say 10, and then they come back. So ultimately, it's my inability to sell.
So right now it's organic, 10-minute call, sales call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who does this 10-minute? You?
No, so I just hired a guy. So he does the messaging as me, and then
Is he cold DMing people?
So I try to do cold DM and struggle with it massively.
Okay. So who's he message?
He messages the ID camp leads, the people that originally when I was doing the webinar, I did like a very small amount of ads to webinar.
Okay.
And then when I go to showcases, they give me.
What's the ID camp leads? I didn't understand that.
So
What's that?
You have like other companies that run ID camps.
Okay.
So when they pay, $2.95 for the day, when they fill in the registration form, if they hit opt-in to receive help with cold recruiting, they then give me that lead. And then
Why do you get that? Why do they give that?
I pay them $3.
You pay them money and they give you the leads.
Yeah, so I give them $3, and then if they opt in,
and then this guy's texting them.
So then he'll text them just saying, hey, you indicated that you wanted some additional help.
Okay.
And then he sets up the call with himself effectively.
So how much does that cost you to get those leads? And then how much do you usually make from it, or how many sales?
For Facebook ads, the money spent on Facebook ads is $5,300, call it.
Okay.
And from that, we've brought in 24 grand, call it, revenue.
Okay.
From referrals, obviously it's free, and we've brought in.
Do you know the leads and the stuff on that, or no?
The leads on the Facebook
leads,
ads?
cost per call. Do you know that or no?
Don't know.
Okay. All right. Referrals.
Referrals is 7,500.
Okay. Which is someone who signed up with you. And
either knew me from my past or from a friend.
Okay.
Showcase leads, which is when I go to showcases and they just give me like a big booklet.
People walk up to you and you talk to them.
Yeah, so those leads are free, and we've done 12,700 from that. ID camp. This would be, so I've paid $2,600, call it.
Okay.
And that is now probably up to about 8,000. And then the last one is in-person workshops. So I'll go to like a club or a high school and do like an in-person workshop. I guess technically that's free because it doesn't cost me anything. And then I've done, call it 14,600 from that.
Okay, so like how many showcase leads do you think you've had, and how many did you convert?
I would say we've been through probably about 500 so far, and we've converted whatever.
What is that, like 4?
I would say probably 6.
Okay, 6.
Between silver and gold.
So why haven't you been through more?
So originally we were doing a lot more just cold calling, which took so long. It was like 120 calls a day to only get 3 answers. So that's why.
Why aren't you doing more calls? Like, why can't you call faster if they're not picking up? Are you getting a lot of pickups?
So that was me doing that and kind of setting up the business and all that kind of stuff at the same time. So then I hired.
How did you call on your cell phone?
Through Elite 360 on my laptop.
Okay. Yeah, you might need a dialer system.
I had a very high no-show rate. So I was like, right, I need to find a way to get warmer leads, was my thinking. So that's why I went closer to the Facebook ads and the ID.
All I'm trying to understand is you said you've had thousands of leads from showcases. You've only gone through 500. Is that the 500 you called?
Yeah. So
okay, and so out of the 500 you called, you got 6.
Yeah.
Hey, how many hours did it take you to call 500?
Honestly, I wouldn't know. I would say.
How many can you call an hour?
So they've all been called probably 4 times.
Those 500 leads?
Yeah.
So, okay, and you have like 30,000, you said, or something? So you're not even like a fraction of the way through.
No, not even close.
Okay. And how many people can you call an hour? You have any guess? 50, 100,
so we
30,
were doing
20?
It was about 100 every 4 hours. So yeah, about 25.
Okay. In person, what does that take you? How many have you done?
So in person, I go down. I've done like 2, to be honest, just because they're not very receptive.
So how long does it take? 2 hours or how long?
By the time I drive back. So that one was in Detroit. Drove there, 3 hours there, 3 hours back, 3 hours presentation.
So it has to be local.
9 hours. 9 hours.
So 18 hours. And how many sales you get?
So that would end up being probably 8 players.
What is this? This is him who's he reaching out to on this? Like, is he reaching out to anyone, or what is he doing? You said he takes calls, so like, how does he get the calls? He calls these people.
He only started in July.
Okay.
So we've gone to like more texting. So he'll text as me, find out the information, and then try and set up a 10-minute call as himself, as his head scout. And then when he's on that call, he'll then set up the recruit assessment for me, which is the sales call.
Okay. Why haven't you just taken all these leads and just done a text blast?
I figured I'd get shut down.
It's like, you can do these in-persons if you want, but you're not going to scale that unless someone else does it for
Exactly,
you.
yeah.
Okay, so like, we're just going to cross this off the board. You can do those, but unless Henry or someone else is going to do it, which it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon, that's going to be a waste of your time. Okay, we'll come to Facebook ads in a second. Referrals is what it is. If I were you and I'm doing this, I mean, I guess like the part I'm a little confused about is like, why are you going so slow? Because it's like, if you put it in a database, you can get to them anytime. You know, I understand kind of what you're doing, but it's like, if you have 30,000 leads, every month that you don't message those leads or call, you're just going to burn a lead. Like the lead, they're not going to be young forever. What I would do is I'd have a form that you send in the text, and the text you'd be like, hey, first name, hey, Henry, this is Tanner with blah, blah, what's your company's name?
Skill Fit Soccer.
This is Tanner with Skill Fit Soccer. And I got, you know, I don't know how you're going to do it, but it's like, I got a hold of your number because you're in the process of college recruiting. I help individuals like yourself get recruited by the colleges they want, but I have to speak to your parent. Here's a form. Please fill this form out for your parents' contact information so I can contact them. So that takes all the bull out of the way. That would be way faster. That's what I would try to do. If they respond back, they respond back, but I would try to send something in the text that's like a form to like type form, so you get all the parents' information. Then once you get the parents' information, you can do the same thing very quickly. So it's like automated. Like I would you got to try to automate as much of this as you can. Yeah. This is your best shot. Like this is your best shot by far. This is not scalable. That, you know, is what it is. We'll get to that in a second. This is your best shot by far, and you're getting the leads for free, bro. Like if you're getting free leads, like that's like one of the biggest costs of a business. Okay. So the first thing is like, figure out like how far you can push the limit with this, because this is your bottleneck. And if you can automate getting the forms and get the parents' info and then do it again, you're going to cut out 90% of your work. You trying to respond and like, that's okay right now, but it's also just like, you have so many leads sitting there. It's like sad. And so maybe even what you could do is you could go to guys and you're like, hey, I have all these leads. I'll pay you 5% commission of anything I close that you set for me or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I were you, you could have like a couple setters, you pay like $1,500 base, and you're just like, look, anything you close, I'll give you 5%. Anything that I close that you set, I'll give you 5%, because this is, if they don't, you lose nothing. If you do, sick. What I did to figure out my price point is, first, I made sure I was good at sales. That's number one. So you have to be really honest and audit yourself. And I can go through your sales script if you'd like, but you got to be really honest with your, like, have you heard about the 3 pillars? Do you know what the 3 pillars are? Does that make sense to you?
I'm not done.
Okay, so let's go to your sales script. So every sale is basically intro, pre-frame. Hey, Tanner, what's up? Yeah, tell me about yourself. Yeah, cool. So on the call today, here's what we're going to do. You could tell them like, hey, by the end of the call, I need a yes or no, whatever you want. That's what a pre-frame is. Okay, so you can pre-frame as hard or as little as you want.
So that was a question I had. So what I see, and again, I don't know the numbers, I wish I had them, but when both the parents are on the call, so my close rate is 60%.
Okay.
I would, if you took away the single parents, when you have both parents on the call, I would say it's probably about 90%. Because it eliminates the objection of I need to speak to a significant other.
But you just put that in your pre-frame. So Henry will say, can either both, here's what Henry
so
would do.
So we do, he's on his call, and then they get a 7-day reminder, a voicemail, a 3-day reminder, a 1-day reminder.
So why are you booking that far out? You should never book more than 2 days out. Unless they literally can't do it. Because bro, the farther out you book, it's like a doctor.
Yeah.
So guess what? So, you know what? How many times I've gone to a dentist appointment I booked to 6 months out? Like probably zero.
Yeah.
Make sure Henry says, hey, we need to make sure that whoever's on the call, can they make the decision on their own? And if not, can you both be on the call? Otherwise, we can't book it. He just needs to say that. Okay. But the thing is, you're still closing 60% with one person, so I don't think that's an issue. Like, it's like, get the call booked. Who cares if you close 60%, whatever. Okay, questions and discovery is where you're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. What are your goals? What are you struggling? Okay, here's the pillar part. The pillars needs to be the top 3 reasons why they want to work with you. I need you to explain to me why I should hire you and not go to another service. And they need to be good reasons, not like some bullshit. Like, give me a good reason.
Because you're going to get a text message every single week telling you exactly what you got to do. Because I was a college coach and a club coach, and I have a 16 and a 19-year-old, so I get all three perspectives.
Okay.
And then
But like, talk about the results. Like, what result can you give me that they can't give me?
I mean, the result would be, obviously, it's hard because it's a newer company and the life cycle of when the result comes. But technically, I could say I've got 100% placement rate.
Okay.
I've not had one
That's
person
a good reason.
Not one person ask for a refund or a chargeback.
What do these other companies do if they don't do one-to-one? It's just email and text, or what is it?
So they do like it's one-to-one, but it's on the kid to actually go in and book the meeting, which they never do. So I have some families that have paid NCSA or other companies $7,000 and then come and pay me another $3,000.
Every sales call I take, I always do, it's called what they do, what we do. It's the pillars. So for example, hey, Tanner, super excited you're here. Tell me about yourself. Yeah, so cool, dude. So what we're going to do on this call is going to take you through what your goals are, what you're struggling with your kid, etc. By the end of the call, I'm just going to look for you to give me a yes or no. Yes means you're ready to work with us. No means you're not. Either way is cool. I just want to make sure I give you all the information to be decisive. Does that sound fair? Great. Now, the next part is what I call the 3 pillars. This is going to explain to you why you should work with me and why I do different than every other company out there. Now, the first part, and this is where you do what they do versus what we do. The first thing is that, and you would want to label these with a marketing term. So you wouldn't want to be like, the first thing is college coach. You'd say something like, most people, they just throw you out there. They're doing this, that. They're not doing a lot of stuff. Like, end of the day, I've been a college coach and a club coach. I know exactly, what your child's going to need. I have a lot more experience. Some of these companies will say that they have that, but they don't because they're so big and they have so many staff. They're just not able to give you that personalized attention, and you're not working with the coach. You're working from the friend of the coach to the coach to the coach, whatever. Like, that would be the first reason, right? So you're separating yourself from the competition. The second thing is I actually will give, like, I don't know, this is kind of like similar. So maybe...
No, but it's like the one-on-one is like, most companies will say, yeah, book whenever you want. That's on the kid to do it. They're busy. They've got going on. But I'm going to go after them. And as long as they do exactly what I tell them, they'll get recruited. They'll get text every Friday.
So same thing. So then you're like, so the first thing, like, and these got to be the biggest 3 things. So like the first thing is I'm a college coach and a club coach. Most of these other companies are not. That's why it sucks. Don't pick them. The second thing is I'm actually going to take care of your kid. So you want someone who's actually going to reach out to your kid and make sure that he gets the guaranteed result. I will do that. These other places, they have it on the kid. So like, yeah, maybe your kid reaches out, maybe he doesn't. But if your kid doesn't reach out, he's not going to get the placement, right? Yeah. And that's not what we want. And then number 3 is I can guarantee 100%, like you can even say like money back if you're that confident. You're like 100% money back guarantee that I will get your child placed. If he doesn't, you make the money back. No other company will say that, not even close, whatever. But you got to make sure that if you're saying that, no one else is really saying that. So then when you get down here, you're doing, usually it's like a brief program overview. Sorry, I got to sit down. I've just been like standing all day.
No, you're good.
It's like a brief program overview, typically. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then usually you pitch, and then it's objections. Now, you sound like you have a pretty good close rate. There's really only 4 objections typically. It's price, spouse, time, or belief.
Yeah. Pretty
much. What I'll do is we're going to go through that next. We'll do that on your computer because I'm going to record it, and it's going to be more helpful because we'll send it to you later as well. All right. So these are the objections. Okay. So the reason that you can, I want you to raise your price because if you're closing that much, it's too cheap. And to be honest, if you really want to run ads, you got to charge more money. Otherwise, ads don't work because your cost is going to be so high for what you're getting back.
Gotcha.
Okay. But again, do that stuff first because that's 800,000 you're sitting on. Because dude, it's just math. It's like if every time you do 500, you make 12.7 and it's free. Besides Henry, who gives a shit?
Yep.
Okay. So here's this. Hey, so the price of the program is $29.95. Oh, okay. So the price of I'm gonna mark the screen as I go.
Yep. Good.
So the price of the program is $29.95. Ooh, that's too much. Look, I totally get it. Is there anything besides price that would stop you from moving forward today, or is it just price? You like the program? Sounds good. Yeah, program sounds great. Got it. So if we're able to figure out price, you're able to move forward. Yeah, cool. So instead of me sounding like a used car salesman, I just want to make sure I help you. Like, what's your cash on hand situation? What do you have available right now that's liquid that you could invest? Okay, so let's say they go, well, I have $1,000. What's your biggest payment plan? What's your longest payment plan?
18 months.
Okay, cool. So look, what if we just put that down and we do the rest on a payment plan? Sound fair enough? That's like the easiest close. Typically,
they're going to say either they can or they can't, right? They're going to give you a number. You need to get the number. This is why it's in orange. You got to get the number, because once they tell you, guess what? Like, if I was selling you something for $1 million and you only have 500,000, no matter how good a salesman I am, you're not going to come up with $1 million, right? But you got to get the number. What most guys do, and what you probably do, is you go, oh, well, what if I do this? What if I do this? What if I do this? So you keep discounting it. But you don't have to do that if you know they're cash on hand, because, like, for example, if I'm trying to sell you a car and you don't have the money, I'm like, okay, well, like, what do you have? And you're like, well, I have this much. Then I either give it to you or I'm like, okay, that's not enough. Do you understand?
Okay,
Okay. So from here, let's say you say I have 1,000. So I'm like, cool. What if we put that down in a payment plan? Or what if we put that down, put the rest on a payment plan? Sound fair enough? If they say yes, you take it. Let's say they say no. They're like, no, that doesn't work. You're like, got it. So because I want to help you, what's an ideal situation for you? Well, guess what's going to happen? They're going to say something that makes sense. And you're like, okay, let's do that. Or they're going to say something that doesn't make sense. You're like, well, you know what? $100 is too low. The lowest I can go is like 500. Was that the way we can make that work? And then from there, if they still say no, then you go back to pain or belief. And you're like, okay, well, like, I guess I'm confused. Like, you said you wanted to do it. You want to help your son, but like, you only have $100. I gave you a plan that works. Like, tell me what I can do to help you. The reason I like this is I literally can raise the price anytime I want and I'll never lose a sale, because in the back of your head, let me ask this, what's the lowest you'll take? Like if someone, let's say someone's like, dude, I don't have $3,000. And they're like, the most I have is this. Is there a number that you would still take that's like not $3,000 where you're like, all right, I'll just do it for that amount?
I mean, I upgrade from the 8.9. I'll do the gold program for 18.95.
Okay. So if they're like, what? So think of it this way. It doesn't matter if you say the program's $10,000, because guess what? They might say, you're like, hey, it's $10,000. They're like, okay, yeah, it sounds good. But what if they say, oh, it's too much? You're like, oh, okay, well, I totally get that. Is there anything besides price? Okay. So if we figure out price, you move forward. What's your cash on hand? What if they go, well, I got like $6,000. Well, $6,000 is more than $3,000.
Yeah.
So it's a safe way to raise your price without losing the sale. The reason guys like you sometimes don't do it is you're like, yeah, but if I raise it too high, they're going to say no and I'll lose the sale. No, you won't. Because if they say no, you just ask for cash on hand. And then if they're like, well, I only have 1,800, you're like, oh, okay, cool. I usually take 1,800. Or they're like, I have 300. Oh, I usually sell it for $3,000. Like, but they don't know that. You're the boss.
Yeah.
So it's a safe way to raise your price and test the price of your business. And really, to be honest, dude, you should raise your price until you're getting like more no's. Like, because think about it, like if you doubled your price and you only closed 50%, who gives a shit?
Less clients to deal
yeah,
with.
and you're making more money, and you can run your ads at higher clips, right?
So I think even from listening to this, I need to pre-frame it way better as well.
100%.
Because even still, sometimes people get on like, whoa, I wasn't expecting a handle with $3,000 tonight. You know
yeah,
what I
well,
mean?
yeah, but you can still work through that. You're like let's say they say that, it's like, oh, okay, well, cool. Like, I mean, but besides the price, how's everything sound? And then they go through that, and you can do what's called a refundable deposit. We'll talk about that. We'll get through that. So,
I set that up. Yeah, I set that up.
Okay, cool. So there's price. Okay, now let's say it's a single parent, and they're like, oh, you know, it sounds good. I just got to run it by my wife. I'm always like, cool. So what if they say no? If they say, well, I do it anyways, I'm like, cool, I'll just do it. Right? That's like, sometimes it happens. It's crazy how stupid people are. But usually what they'll do is they'll say no. So it's like, well, what if they say no? They're like, well, I wouldn't do it. Then I go to B. I'm like, well, what would their biggest objection be? And they're like, well, they probably think price. Well, guess what? You just go up here. Ah, my bad. It's price? Cool. So if we figure out price, you're in? Yeah. Okay, cool. So if we figure out price, you can start? Cool. What's your cash on hand? And then I'll solve that. That's usually what they do. It's not usually a spouse, it's a price issue. So then, do you kind of see how that works? Now, let's say hypothetically, they do say price and then you figure it out and they're like, yeah, but I still got to talk to my spouse. I just go to C. I mean, it's like A, B, C, D. It's not that complex.
Yep.
And then this one is more about past agreements. Like, well, does your spouse know about this? Do they support you, etc.? They still say no. I do what's called a delayed payment, which is cool. So let's do this. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and put down a deposit. If you go back to your wife and she says she doesn't want you to be healthier, she doesn't want you to be happier, she doesn't want you to live longer, if she says all that, we'll just refund you and call it a day. Because like, if you get someone who says like, you know, I wasn't expecting to do $3,000 tonight. It's like, dude, no worries. Like, does it sound good though? You just need to get some cash together or whatever. You can always take a deposit, because to me, especially refundable deposits, it's risk-free. So if they won't do a risk-free thing, it's like they're full of shit. Because there's no reason. Like, if you give me a credit card right now and I swipe it for $10,000 and you haven't signed an agreement, what can you do? Charge back.
Yeah. Right?
Doesn't Amex and Chase have chargebacks? Like, you know what I'm saying? So people are like, oh no, I don't. It's like, dude, you can charge back. You're fine. You're good. Okay. Stall. There's a few ways to handle stall. Typically, it's one of two things. Either you're like, well, I need to think about it. It's like, cool, well, what do you need to think about? That's the typical one, because typically you're trying to figure out what the real issue is.
Yeah.
sometimes what I like to do is, you don't have to do this, but this is what I like to do. I'm like, well, look, do you know what deciding means? It's like, basically it just means which future we're going to cut off. Are we going to, for you, you could say, are we going to cut off the future of your child's dreams? Or are we going to cut off your passive inaction? Because decision is still a decision. So the question is, I have 3 things I can ask you. If you know these 3 things, you're ready to move forward. Cool? Okay, do you think you're more or less likely to hit your goal working with us? Oh, more likely, okay. Do you believe we're going to deliver what was promised? Yeah, probably, okay. Do you have access to funds or know someone does? Yeah, I have access to funds. It's like, okay, cool. So based off of that, you actually have all the information you need to make a decision. Those are only 3 things. So I'd encourage you to go ahead and move forward since you said yes to all that. Does that sound fair enough? Like, I literally will say that. And usually they're like, yeah, but... And then if they still say no, delayed payment, right? So delayed payment is your last ditch effort where they're just saying no, 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 no. You should always be able to get at least a refundable deposit, because it's like, well, does it sound good? You just need to talk to your wife? Cool. Well, look, if you go home and you talk to your wife and she says she doesn't want your child to be happy and healthy and, you know, actually play sports, and she wants your child to be miserable, she says that, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I'll just send you the money back. Sound fair? Like, I had a call, I actually closed a call that's on Instagram right now where the guy tried to back off, and I kind of said that. I was like, yeah, well, dude, like, if you go home, you don't want to retire, you don't want to make more money. He's like, ha ha ha. And then he came and he paid. Last one, belief. So really, belief is like, oh, I just don't know if this is going to work. You're like, cool. So like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And they're like, well, you know, it doesn't work for my child. Right? Well, look, there's 3 results. You sign up and get the results. Life's great. Your child's happy. Okay. You do it and you don't get the result, but I will give you your money back. Okay, because like, I'm not going to scam you out of money and everyone I've worked with has gone on placement. And then 3, you do nothing, your child stays stuck. Only one of those things guarantees your child won't get the result. The other 2, you either get your money back or they do. So which are you going to choose? Because the only thing that makes no sense is staying stuck. So that's, I just drill that shit all day with my sales team, dude.
How do you deal with, and I guess it's for fitness and business, but also if they don't do the work, like that's sometimes it's on, like, I take that as like, I can't accept them not doing it, but I also can't do everything for them.
Yeah, so you just say that. You're like, as long as your child, I mean, you just have to say that. You're like, as long as your child does what I say, he'll get placed. But I need you to make sure he does that.
Okay.
So like, you can, I mean, I say that in my program. Like, if you sign up for my program and I told, like, if I tell you to do this stuff and you go home and you don't do shit, then like, I'm not going to feel bad. I'm like, yeah, you didn't do anything we talked about.
And then do you typically find those people don't ask for refunds? Like, I try to make sure that I give them as much.
Well, no.
Stuff
So if you're
I can go,
okay,
hey,
so
look,
let me back up. So if you're gonna give a refund, it has to be conditional. You can't just give them money back, whatever they want refund.
Yeah, obviously.
So what that would mean is you would, in the contract, you would have conditions that they hit. So for example, if you worked in my program, what we do is we say, hey, you have to send in 4 months, you have to send at least 2,000 DMs, which is not really that much if you break it down. That's like 20 a day or something.
Oh, I could do that easily.
Okay.
Sending emails to college coaches. That's
Number
easy.
2 is you have to take at least 15 sales calls. Again, that's like 3 a week. Not even. It's like 1 a week. So it's like, can you take 1 sales call a week? And then the other one is, do you post 1 piece of content daily? The reason we do that is that if they ask for a refund, they haven't done it, we don't give it to them. Do you understand? But if they do, what we know is, hey, if they do that, they'll get the results. So we're happy to give a refund because we're not going to need to give a refund. That's the whole point of condition. A condition is like, it's like, you want to lose weight. I'm like, James, don't eat Twinkies. You eat Twinkies. I'm like, no refund. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can say that. Just make sure if you do that, you talk.
I already know that. I already know.
Or you just don't bring it up. You're just like, hey, you sign up and get results in life is great. Or B, you do it, and the only way your kid doesn't get results is he doesn't listen to me because everyone I've worked with has gotten a placement. Or 3, you do nothing and stay stuck. You just tailor it to fit you. But like, usually belief is like, well, what if it doesn't work? And you're basically, the easiest way to attack that is you just go, well, if it doesn't work, nothing. Like, if it doesn't work, the worst thing that can happen is you'll get your money back.
Purpose of VSL, doing a triage call.
There's not really. I mean, so if you're gonna do a webinar, technically most times, but again, it's like, I never try to get people to stop doing what's working. So right now, what you're doing is you're just running them to a triage call.
Yep.
So typically when someone runs ads, I don't try to get them to completely do a new system. Typically if you have a VSL, you would send them straight to a sales call, but it has an application like Typeform, or it's embedded in Calendly, something like that.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yeah, there really isn't a purpose of doing a triage call if you're doing a VSL, typically.
Gotcha. Okay. Right time to get to testimonials. I feel that's probably
whenever they start feeling good results. Like, dude, we get clients who sometimes they'll give us a testimonial 4 weeks in because they made a couple sales and like, dude, this is amazing. Like, dude, sick. Like, can you give us some? Can you give a quick video testimonial and a trust bot? So just ask as soon as they're excited.
Whenever they're buzzing.
Okay. Yeah.
How do you deal with the clients who don't put the work in if they fail because they don't take action? It's on me still as a business coach.
Yeah. I mean, the reality, dude, is like I've had to date 40,000 clients, and like I thought I was gonna be a billionaire because I was like, oh my god, like my first 3 clients made 10K in 30 days. But the reality is like those were some of my best clients. Like because I realized I was like, oh, they actually do the work.
Yeah.
You can't the issue with consulting, there's no consulting business on earth where you can guarantee, like literally, because like what happens is James is a 1, Tanner's a 5, John's a 10. They all get the same program. So why did they get different results? Well, John's more skilled.
They put the work in.
Well, they're more skilled too, right?
Okay.
So it's like you just have to make it clear. It's like, hey, I can get you the result, but you have to do. It's like fitness. Would I feel like a bad person if I said I can guarantee you 100% with certainty that you're going to lose 20 pounds if you do what I say? Would anyone argue with that? No. Like, stop eating food.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? But if they're going to keep shoving Twinkies in their mouth, should I feel bad? Like, you have to accept that as a consultant. If you can't, get out, because there's not a 100% way when it's done with you and it's not done for you. You can't guarantee it because they have to do work. When it's done for you, sure, but done for you is not scalable, because now you're spending. You'd have to charge 20K because you're doing too much.
And then it's hard to get 20K.
Right, exactly, exactly, 100%, correct.
You're the man. Appreciate it, man.
That's it?
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's everything.
You're the man, bro.
We got some hard truths, which was awesome. Got a completely different perspective on, really where the opportunity is within the business, which is amazing. Understanding now what to look for. Yeah, amazing. Super excited to do it.